Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, August 30th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol XRTX. Very, very impressive mover today. And now we have a interesting situation here headed into tomorrow. And let me just get this drawn into play because for the majority of the day, we had this nice little pattern here form, a nice bull pennant. But you can see that the price is actually now broken up through that level. So now we have an interesting situation in the sense of, okay, breakout has occurred. Is this the start of something even bigger? Now think about that question. It makes no sense to ask that question if nothing worthwhile has happened. But in this situation, something has happened. The breakout has happened. So we can ask that question. To be fair, maybe not. Maybe this was the move. Maybe this thing's getting ready to roll right back over. But that's a two-sided coin because, I mean, well, maybe this is the start of something much bigger and this thing's getting ready to rock and roll that much more. And we know that this thing can rock and roll because, well, it just did it. So we have proof that this thing does have the ability. Doesn't mean it'll for sure happen, but it's shown us it can, and we have the breakout. So it just goes back to that question. Breakout accomplished. Is this the start of something even bigger? Always an exciting question to be asking. So if you like these sorts of situations, you like these price ranges, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, WTO. Did this one yesterday because it was one of the craziest charts I've seen in a long time, and massive, massive volume again. It's kind of hard to see just because of that big move there. So I'm just going to extend this out a little bit more so we can kind of see more so what's going on here. But we do have a little bit of a suggestion that maybe, just maybe, the selling is over and that maybe, just maybe, this thing is getting ready to start to kind of roll back in the upwards direction. And that's just via the fact that the price is now starting to put in, whoops, sorry, it's got to go a little bit behind my ugly mug, but there we go. We're still good. But there's this trend line in place. Now, I wish I could say that just because there's a slight uptrend means that for sure guaranteed the bottom is in, and for sure guaranteed this thing is going to make a big move to the upside. So no guarantees, but it's much more plausible. Case in point, if the price was still just dropping straight down and I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like it could be the bottom, you'd be totally justified to say, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally just dropping. But that's not the case here. You have a slight uptrend here. So maybe, just maybe, the selling pressure is over. And then in terms of levels of resistance, key dynamic to watch basically right here at 0.134. And in a pattern sense, we'll call this a poor man's ascending triangle. I'm not going to say this is like the most beautiful ascending triangle I've ever seen. But nonetheless, it does still have a well-defined breakout point. It has some upwards movement right there, so we'll see if this can turn itself back around. And even if it just were to come up there from a percentage standpoint, that's already really good. But if you get a break up through there, that would just be icing on the cake. Next one here, LUCY, and this is a little tricky to talk about because there's quite a bit of perspective that goes into it, meaning if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, or maybe you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell with, in 7 minutes, well then yeah, from that standpoint, things are looking very, very rough. But from the bigger picture point of view, you still got to acknowledge the fact that, yeah, there has been this pullback. That is fair, but emphasis on big picture. And part of the big picture is going to say and acknowledge that, sure, the price has pulled back. However, what was going on before this pullback? And you'd say, well, the price was down here, and it shot all the way up there, which is now giving me the ability to draw this bull flag pattern. So like I said, it's all about the perception and the strategy. Again, those people that bought right there, as day traders, they don't care about this bull flag pattern. But if you do care about the bigger picture, or you just simply like bull flags in general, and you like this price range, then certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, SOFI. Again, same general idea here. Yeah, day traders that bought right there wanted to sell within 3 minutes. Things are not looking good for them. But if you do care about the bigger picture of things, nice little pattern here has formed. So I would call the key area of resistance right up there at that level, give or take a little bit, around, we'll call it, 825. Not exact, but just generally speaking. And then we have this support trend line right there. Let me change that to green to represent support. And then to make it easier to see, let's just keep it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the huge move up right here. A few golfers try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So bull pennant on a stock down below to the $10 mark. So if you like these sorts of circumstances, certainly keep an eye on SOFI. Next one here, NVDA, and another very rough day. Earnings came out, and it's not rough just because it's red per se, because it just continues to break down through all these technical levels. I mean, there was quite a few areas of support here, going into the day, but the price just broke down through all of them. So much so that I think I'm just going to start over fresh. Let's just get rid of these lines, I don't want to risk causing clutter and confusion because there's lines everywhere. But as far as key areas of resistance now, first dynamic to watch is going to be all about that pink line right there, the 200 period moving average, and that's just based on a rule that says when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance, and you could see that begin to happen right there. Does not mean that the price can never get back above that pink line. I'm just saying that with any sort of bounce back to the upside, I would expect that pink line, as it did right there, to put up a pretty big fight. Current value of the pink line right there at, let's just call it 121.60. So keep an eye on that. Resistance wise on any sort of bounce. In terms of bounces, gonna have to squeeze things down here a little bit because it's been a long time since the price has been down this low. But next area of support to keep an eye on, down here right at the bottom of this consolidation, right there at the 116 mark. And that is just coming from back here. You can see that there was a period of consolidation where the price consolidated out before making a nice move there. So keep an eye on that, and I'll zoom back in here so you can see where that green line there is coming from. But yeah, all in all, very rough day after earnings, and we'll see if the momentum can try to alleviate itself or if the bearish momentum is just going to pick up that much more on Friday. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can use. Now, one special note, it is a genuine live event. So maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening. Maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you totally missed it. That is okay. Go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay so that you can watch it when better fits into your schedule. But if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up, and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one, ticker symbol MAXN, and we have a pretty interesting move on this one, more so just the pattern that formed. So I'm just going to exclude the opening 30 minutes because that was pretty crazy. But after that, we have there we go. We have that level of support, and then we have that trend line right there. And I would call this a falling wedge pattern, which is actually a bullish pattern. You would think falling wedge is bearish, but actually the rising wedge is bearish. Falling wedge is bullish. And, just because something's bullish, and I know we've had plenty of other bullish patterns, but as a reminder, just because there's a bullish pattern doesn't mean that the price is for sure going to go up. Same is true as a bearish pattern. If there's a bearish pattern, that doesn't mean the price is going to go down. But in my opinion, would it shock anybody if this thing maybe, drifted down a little bit more and then got a little bit of a bounce to the upside with a break to the, in the bullish direction of that pattern? I don't think that would shock anybody because we do, again, have a nice little falling wedge pattern, which is one of my favorite patterns. So if you like falling wedges, you like penny stocks, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, NIO. Very, very impressive day today as things were not looking good at all yesterday when I did the video. Mapped out this area at 380 as a key level of resistance, and the price broke up through it very, very nicely during that opening 30 minutes right there, and is now well above it, including these moving averages right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level for now as it served its purpose. And first update, just based on that rule, and levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So overall, 380 would be that the level that I'd say must hold, because any sort of breaks below that level, that would be putting the price right back inside of that range where it just was. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make great moves and then go right back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. So, that's where I would say 380 is more so the must hold. The ideal level, hey, Clay, won't make this chart look the best and healthiest moving forward. Definitely if the price can stay above these moving averages right there, more specifically that pink line, the 200 period moving average right at 391. But again, if the price falls below it, doesn't mean the chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that, because again, the must hold level for the reasons already discussed down there at 380. In terms of levels of resistance, key dynamic to watch, resistance-wise, right up here at about $3.97, so keep a close eye on that. But all in all, very, very impressive day, especially, like I said, when yesterday was looking so shaky. Next one here, NVD, and we have a nice little upwards move here, good solid pattern. So let's just get this right into play. And really, as far as the resistance is concerned, very basic question, where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at $1.99. So for that reason alone, again, basic logic, that is where I would say the main area of resistance is at, right there at $1.99. In terms of levels of support, let me change this to green. We have this former breakout area right there at $1.89. I would consider that the main level to watch in terms of ideal. Big picture wise, just watch that purple line down here. The 50 period, simple moving average, keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher and basically serve as a trend line that's drawing itself for you. So in other words, as long as the price is above the overall trend line, then the trend is still plenty in the bull's favor. But again, yeah, staying above $1.89 would make the chart look the healthiest moving forward. But all in all, nice movement today. We'll see if this can get more bullish upside movement to close out the week on Friday. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And overall, started off so nice on the day. And that being defined as breaking above not only this trend line, also broke above the pink line, also broke above the purple line. So things were looking great that opening 30 minutes. And even when it pulled back here, this action here, not so bad. But then the afternoon happened, and wow, that was very brutal to the downside as it's given back basically all of its gains. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And there we go. And focus more so on, yeah, 201.70 is certainly a level that you'll want to watch. But now at this point, I'm very curious about, yeah, I mean, the gap is essentially closed. But what I'm not curious about is, can this gap close actually serve as a support, serve as a bounce point where this thing gets, starting to, move back up around? If not, in my opinion, I think there's a very, very good chance that the price at minimum goes down and tests 201.70. But it is Tesla, so you never know. Maybe there's a slight breakdown. All of a sudden, it decides to just skyrocket back up. Who knows? Maybe Elon tweets something. You never quite know that. But as of right now, the gap is basically closed. So I think that's going to be a very big curiosity point on whether or not that actually provides a bounce point or not. If it does, then in the near term now, whoops, grab the wrong annotation line. There we go. Main level going to be right there at that resistance trend line. But yeah, definitely a very rough day here for Tesla. Next one, TQQQ, and overall, like Tesla, started off great on the day, had a fantastic pattern here forming, and then that 30-minute session showed up, and then that 30-minute session showed up and wiped away basically all the gains. And all in all, from a bigger picture, nothing really happened. What do I mean by that? Well, the levels I've been talking about, 67.60 as the area of resistance, and then down here at 65.16 as support, they're still in totally play. In fact, the chart is essentially in a sideways channel right here. Now, yes, obviously today within and of itself was a crazy day, up here all the way down here. But just taking a step back, the price still remains between both these levels that I talked about in yesterday's video. So the question still remains the same. Who is ultimately going to win the battle? Yes, earlier today, it's looking like the bulls had won this battle, but the bears ended up dragging the price back inside of the channel, and it's basically almost right in the middle of that channel. So the battle continues going into Friday. So grab your popcorn, and we'll see if we can get some more answers on Friday in terms of which direction the price actually wants to go. I will get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, again, if you like what you saw here, definitely go get signed up for the free live webinar and learn more about how it can and should be used. Like I said, it'll be this evening, Thursday, August 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, so I hope to see you there. But as mentioned earlier, if you can't make it live for whatever reason, go ahead and send me an email to clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I am now on the 4-hour time frame, so each one of these candlesticks represents 4 hours and not 30 minutes, and that is because Bitcoin is open 24/7, and I want this video to remain relevant as possible. So I'm going to accomplish that by using the 4-hour, and then just assuming that you're watching this video, 10, 15 hours from now, maybe 20 hours from now, and just walk you through some key questions. So question number one that you need to ask yourself is, where's the price at relative to 57,700? As long as you're answering the question that the price is at least above that level, then I'm not going to say things are great, because that would imply that means that the price could still come down here, but that would imply that, things are still just consolidating, and then from a bigger picture standpoint, it's still up above this area right here where it's been. So like I said, not the end of the world as long as you're saying the price is above 57,700. Now, if you're saying the price is down below that level, next immediate question is, okay, well, where's the price at relative to 56,100? If somehow you're answering the question that the price is down below there, that's not good. That implies that the bears have shown up in a very big way, and the chart has started to enter into kind of this almost miniature no man's land in terms of previous area. But I'd be shocked if you're answering the question that way, but nonetheless, those would be the first couple questions. Now, if you are saying, well, the price is above 57,700, well, where's the price at relative to the pink line there? If in any way you're saying the price is above that pink line, that's telling you things are going very, very well, because that would tell you that that 4-hour big red candle has been totally wiped away. And not only that, the price has been able to push up higher and get up through that level. So any sort of answers where the price is above that 200 period moving average, that's telling you Bitcoin is doing very, very well. But in my opinion, it's still all about 57,700 and whether or not the price can stay above it. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely get signed up for this free webinar, because what you're learning about can and certainly should be used within the world of Bitcoin and crypto. So like I said, it'll be this evening, Thursday, August 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. If you can't make it live, then as I mentioned already, clay@claytrader.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. And it is a genuine live event, and I say that because if you have questions, there will be a live Q&A session, so please bring your questions, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. So thanks for watching. Go get signed up, and hopefully I'll see you here in just a few hours.